Welcome back to Stab the Dragon Productions for episode number 155. And we're having the Texas Rye Whiskey Tournament tonight. We have the second match of the final four from Bracket 2 with Acre Texas Rye Rum Cask Finish versus Tahwahkaro Texas Rye Malt Whiskey. Now last time we met we had the 80 proof Acre Texas Rye beating out Oak and Eden Rye and Rar IPA finished for the lower proof division. But tonight, both contestants are 100 proof or above. So there's clearly a chance that we could have an all Acre distillery finals here if this Acre rum cask beats Tahwahkaro. But I have to admit, when Ta beat out the Balcones Texas Rye a few weeks ago, which was my favorite rye prior to this tournament, I was surprised. So in my eyes, maybe the Ta has an advantage tonight. The rules are, in bracket 1, I was looking for that pure, clean rye flavor that's common with Kentucky ryes or Maryland ryes, Pennsylvania ryes. But bracket number 2 focused on simply which whiskey do I prefer the most. Say if I had 2 whiskeys, which one would I drink 3 out of 5 times? And the difference is, in Texas, there are 2 kinds of whiskeys. There are those that have the Texas funk, and there are those who do not. People sometimes don't like that Texas funk. I love it. It's a combination of what the weather does to the whiskey and that with the char and the oak and the barrels, and it gives it a very strong, very pronounced flavor that it turns off a lot of people. But for me, that's kind of my favorite, and that's how it's been working out here in bracket 2, is that the whiskeys that have the Texas funk are winning over those pure clean rye whiskeys. So let's look at our contestants tonight. The Acre Texas Rye Rum Cask Finish. This is barrel number 87. Fighting out of Fort Worth Acre Distillery just south of downtown in the old Hell's Half Acre Red Light District from the Western days, 100 years ago. And it's 15 minutes from my house, so I've been there several times. I got this in the fall of 2022 at the distillery because it's a special release. It's not available in stores. And no mash bill is really released for this whiskey or their other rye, but the bottle does say it's malted rye and malted barley from Texas, malted, distilled, and aged here in Fort Worth. And it's aged for 3 years and then finished for a 4th year in rum barrels. There you go. So this is a 4-year whiskey. I shared this with a neighbor last fall and he loved it immediately, as did I. Now this whiskey cost me an amazing $48 at the distillery for a craft whiskey, a finished whiskey, a single barrel. That is amazing. And so this is almost favored to win tonight. I mean, both of them are very equally favored here, I think. Now let's go to Tahwahkaro. Oh, I didn't say this is 100 proof, right? Tahwahkaro here is 105 proof. And I've reviewed this on my channel back in May of 2022. I gave it a score of 93 or an A+ back then, so it's definite contender. Like I said, it beat out Balcones a few weeks ago. And this was a local distillery in Grapevine, about 30 miles from my house, over by DFW Airport. They were founded in 2016, and the name is an Indian name for a creek that runs through Grapevine, apparently. Specifically a bend in the creek where a peace treaty was signed. Well, now they've up and moved to Palestine, Texas, East Texas, between Dallas and Nacogdoches. So when you name your whiskey after a geographic feature and then you move, oh well. This rye malt in 2019 won silver at the Whiskeys of the World competition. In April of 2022 at the Texas Whiskey Festival, they were the winner in the rye category. And again, it comes in at 105 proof, and the bottle says that it's aged for not less than 1 year. I don't know if they're just being coy or what, but basically they're saying this is a 1-year whiskey. That's amazing. So we'll see. $59.99 at Goody Goody, and the Specs website and the Total Wine website do not list it, but websites are notoriously bad. So $59.99, it's $11 more than what I paid for the Acre. So let's look at these bottles and judge them a little bit here. This is a very plain, simple bottle. Acre uses a plain brown label. A lot of ryes use green, but neither of these whiskeys use green for a rye. It's got the explanatory note in this banner down at the bottom that it's barrel number 87 and 100 proof and all that. But this is a very plain, simple bottle. Tahwahkaro bottle, on the other hand, is unusual. This is shaped as an old Western cavalry canteen, right? This is like if you watch the movies, this is an old canteen. And one of the problems is it's very wide, and so it takes up a lot of shelf space. One guy went to a liquor store, I read this story, and they had him turn this way, which there's no label. And so maybe Tah could put a small label on the side and help out their local liquor stores. I don't know. But the label's very big, but you can see the whiskey here on the side. And again, it's not a real fancy label at all. It just gives you the basic information. But I think for the unusual bottle, I think Tah should win the bottle label and marketing part of the contest. I need to say also, on the bottle, on these glasses that I've got, on the bottom of the glasses is a number. Number 1 is Acre, number 2 is Tahwahkaro. Me figuring out which is kind of part of the fun. It's not part of the competition. So I will try to guess which is which, and then we'll have the reveal there towards the end. So the appearance of the whiskeys, you can see that this one may be half a shade darker, and this one may be a little bit on the red side. So there's a little bit of a difference there, and I'm not real sure which is which. The lighter colored one with the red, that may be the Acre, because I'm looking at it now, and the Tahwahkaro looks darker. So I'm going to guess, just off of visual, that lighter shade, the red color, that may be the rum finished Acre. We'll see. So I tend to like darker whiskeys, so I'm going to give this one on the right the advantage and say that that's darker, so I prefer that just aesthetically. So now let's go to the nose. Right away I get a little bit of the Texas funk, some sweetness, not really any rye there. Caramel, wood, oak, leather maybe. One on the right. Again, the Texas funk. A little bit more of the barrel char maybe. This one's not quite as sweet as the one on the left. The one on the left, again, just going off the nose, I'm thinking that may be the Acre. Now for the all-important taste, I'll start left. Because if this is the Acre, it's 100 proof. I tend to go for the lower proof first, but we'll see. Yeah, definitely the Texas funk leads the way there. But there is a sweetness there. That may be, again, I'm leaning towards that being the Acre. because that rum cask lends a sweetness to it. But boy, I'm feeling the proof. I like high proof. I like the burn. That's part of the thing that attracts me. So I would not call that harsh at all. Some people might, but I do like the burn. Mouth feels kind of medium. Tobacco, leather, Texas funk, some sweetness there. There's a lot to like with that. All right, I'm gonna try to clean my palate with the Topo Chico, but this is the lime, hint of lime Topo Chico. That may just wreck my palate. We'll see. This one on the right, if this is the Tahwahkaro, there should be a number 2. So I sure felt that first one was the Acre, but I'm not sure. This is not as sweet as the first one. I'm getting a lot more of the leather and tobacco. Maybe hints of fig. Yeah, if there's any fruit in that, it's the fig. Longer finish. I think this one's got a little bit heftier of a mouthfeel. Not quite as much of a burn though, which is odd. If this was the Tahwahkaro, it's a higher proof. Neither of these, the rye is not coming through on either of these. See, that's what the Texas funk does. It really tamps down on the rye, tamps down on the sweetness level. But that first one was a little bit sweeter. That's why I think that may be the Acre. I don't know. Okay, so mouthfeel maybe richer on the right. Hmm. This sure does seem like it's the higher proof of the two. And it definitely has more of that burn, which I like. So that, that's a positive, right? Which is which? I'm gonna guess that this one on my left is the Acre. But which one do I like the most? This is incredibly difficult. Okay. I mean, this is so difficult that on a different day I might choose another one. I'm going to go with the one on my left as the winner. I think the effects of the proof on that one, the mouthfeel is, or the finish is better. So let's look. If this is the winner, I'm thinking it's Acre. It should be a number 1. Let me check. Oh my goodness. This is a number 2. This is the Tahwahkaro. I had them completely reversed. And I don't know how that's even possible. Wow. Tahwahkaro for the win. That's amazing. I thought it was sweeter. I thought the influence of the rum was there. Now the proof matches. Okay, Tahwahkaro's higher proof, and this had more of the effect of the proof, and that's what I liked. That may be the deciding factor here, actually. But this is the Tahwahkaro, not the Acre. That blows me away. And I made the, okay, I told you at the start that this was take 3. I had made it all the way to this point on my first take, and I did the same thing. I picked what I thought was Acre to win, and it was the Tahwahkaro. So that's twice that I've done this, and I mix these up thoroughly. So Tahwahkaro for the win. That is amazing. All right. I never would have thought at the start of this tournament that Tahwahkaro would win. I thought Balcones was going to win, and then I thought the Acre would win. So here we are. All right. Next time, it's going to be the championship match between the Acre 80 proof and the Tahwahkaro at 105. That may be a little bit unfair, but that's how the tournament breaks. All right, so is that going to be the end of the tournament? Well, actually, I discovered a few more rye whiskeys in Texas. So I've got a separate bracket, a supplemental bracket that's going to affect things. I'll do the supplemental bracket, and then we may have to have a runoff. So that's what's in the future for Stab the Dragon. But for now, we've got Acre 80 versus Tahwahkaro for the finals coming up out here.